On a national title run until you lose a midweek. Like, I don't think that you can have a reliable and successful season until you almost lose a midweek. That's my opinion, at least. Nevertheless, we're live. It is a little bit late on a Tuesday. Sorry, normally we try to get a little bit more action out in these early morning, early things. Just did not have the time today to get before 6 o'clock to go live, but we're here. For everybody that's watching, for everybody that's listening, we greatly, greatly appreciate that. We will break down the LSU baseball game versus Nicholls here. We will talk, and I'm sure a lot of you will catch this on the replay, but we will talk about LSU football practice, a lot of big notes, a lot of attending notes, if you will, when it comes to what happened today on the gridiron. So we'll talk a little bit about football. We will get in and out of here. We won't stay too terribly long on this Tuesday night, but we do have a lot of things that we do need to discuss here. But you're not legitimately a team whatsoever until you almost lose a midweek. I am convinced of that. I've always been convinced of that. People say midweek games don't matter, but nevertheless, I guess it is what it is. Let's get to it here. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. This postgame show is brought to you by our good friends over at MyBookie. That's mybookie.ag. The Masters is back, and there's money to be made. Golf's most iconic tournament tees off this week, and MyBookie is the ultimate spot to cash in on every swing, upset, and Sunday charge. Outrights, matchups, live betting, long bombs, long shot bombs. MyBookie money bag. If there's an edge, you'll find it here. Go to MyBookie and use the promo code MM50. That's MM50. And if you deposit any amount, $50 up to $2,000, you'll get half matched instantly by using that promo code. No waiting, and you don't need to bet to receive it. Just bonus cash right away. Again, that promo code is MM50 for your chance to win. If you're not ready for Augusta, you also could be ready for some UFC this weekend. UFC 314, Michael Chandler. Will he be able to get the matchup win this weekend? Bet anytime, bet anything, bet anywhere, only at mybookie.ag. And also brought to you by our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media. Right leads, right systems, smart systems, real growth. No better place to do that than servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io. Guys, if you need referrals, you need those leads, I'm telling you, I've been in the digital marketing space for quite some time now. No one does it better. Websites, referrals, and leads better for HVAC, electrical companies, and generator pros, better than our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media, where they soar above the competition. So let's get into it here. We already have a super chat in the building. Yes, if you do send in super chats, I will get to them. We'll get to some comments tonight. I'll give you my word that we'll get to some comments tonight here. But Jackie Harris says portal season is upon us. That it is, Jackie, with a $2 super chat. It is. It 1,000% is. We will get to this. It's already in here. Missed the game. I just wanted to know the Sadir Mitchell news. Just quickly, got hurt, came back, was at practice, full pads, went back to the sidelines. If a guy's legitimately hurt, that doesn't happen. So breathe easy through this episode. Just breathe easy. It will be okay, I promise you. I promise you it's going to be okay. But we'll get to football in just a moment. So let's get to some baseball right quick. We will end the show, and we'll talk a lot about this football team and today's practice, I promise you. Look, we literally talked about this last night, and I'm not even going to say that. The interesting part in the conversation that we had last night in reference to what happened today, and if you're watching this tomorrow, is that we talked about the challenges for any team when you're on the road that long. I don't care if it's a midweek. I would say it was to be forewarned, right, that this could be a situation, that this could be an instance that something like this happens. But nevertheless, it did. Guys, you're about to be on the road, 3 games in Norman, Oklahoma. You go down to Thibodaux in a midweek. Then you turn right around and you're going to Auburn, Alabama. That is a difficult stretch, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it. Today does not surprise me at all. At all. Now, I know that you think, and hopefully I'm not fuzzy on y'all's end. I don't really know what's going on here. But I do say that it does not surprise me that this situation happened at all. Not at all does it surprise me. Technical difficulties again. Let me know in the chat if we're having them. Guys, can you see me, hear me, all that stuff? Is it blurry? Whatever. Let me pause. Of course. We're having some technical difficulties. Let me do this. Hold on. Keep that thought. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. All right, we're back. It looks like that we're good. Looks like we're good. People are saying we're all good. On our end, it said that y'all couldn't see us. Looks great. The baseball game was giving me a headache, kept going blurry on and off. Yeah, okay. I think we're back here. Hopefully we are. We'll try to get through it here as much as we can. So maybe some of my plans are not going to be met here. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, we have issues when we're trying to do a show here. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely lovely. Our good friend Stephen Fry over at Fry Construction said, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. That is from that was from Boy Meets World. I do remember this. I do remember this. All right, let's get to it. In case you missed it, I am not surprised whatsoever that today happened against the team that it happened in the game that it happened. Guys, any single time that you have to be on the road that much, you just went on the road, 3 games in Norman, you're going on the road, quick turnaround, you only have Monday to get your legs up under you, you're going down to Thibodaux, a team that's going to make this, fans are going to make this, and everybody's going to make this their biggest game of the year because you're coming into town. Of course it is. Guys, y'all know this just as well as I do. This is nothing new. And you struggled. You had some bad at-bats. And I pretty much jinxed Connor Ware for what it's worth. Connor Ware should probably hold me in contempt if he were the judge, because I said, man, he's looking the best he's looked since DBU. Literally fell apart right after that. That is my big jinx. Literally, I hit tweet, and as soon as that happened, my man started to crumble. I don't know. But I am not shocked whatsoever. I am not shocked in the sense of that you got placed in a situation where that once you went on the road that much that you've had those issues. Not shocked, not surprised. I think that you always want a little wake-up call in wins, right? You don't want them in losses. Even if you would have lost a midweek game to Nicholls, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I see Stefan in the chat saying an unmotivated LSU totally coasted through this one and still found a way to do enough to leave with a W. Those boys are fine. I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm not surprised at all. Right? Like like guys, every single team this time of year will face this level of adversity. It goes on around the country. Tennessee lost a couple of weeks ago when they were met with it. That is just the truth. Guys, we're still talking about, even when, last night we started off the show talking about the house case. Even in all of these situations, we're still talking about 18 to 22-year-olds. Up and down the levels of motivation, up and down the levels of play, up and down the situations at hand. And for what it's worth, man, good on these guys to fight in the seventh to find a way to win, scoring 5 runs in the seventh, able to find a way to win. Look, I mean, we could break this game down. Maybe we should. I mean, you got runners on 4 straight innings. You can't do anything. You can't do anything, and not even a runner, but the leadoff runner in all 4 of the opening innings. You can't do anything with it. In the 3rd inning, I mean, you kind of fell apart. You had the single that was given up by Ware, the error on the pickoff move, and then nothing else. Like, I mean, they started getting some runs on you, and then you just kept shooting yourself in the foot. You got a ground ball or a line drive. Or no, it is a ground ball. Excuse me. I can't read my writing. The ground ball by Ethan Fry, single right back up the middle, pop up, swinging bunt, ground out. Bottom of the 4th, top of the 4th, you didn't do anything. Bottom of the 4th, Newt entered, got 2 outs, and then gave up back-to-back singles, and then it blew up. They got a 2-run RBI. I mean, nothing that you were doing. Top of the 5th, Stanfield walk, Curio hit into a 1-6-3 double play, and then Jones ends it to end the inning. Just not efficient. Not efficient at all. 6th inning. To start off the inning, Fry walked. Jake Brown hit the ball to the second baseman. There was an error. And then Hernandez struck out. Then Stanny walked to load the bases. And you cannot get anything only than a run that inning. Or no, you don't even get a run that inning. You have a bases loaded situation with 2 outs, and you hit a ball away, a foot away from the warning track that could have definitely given you the lead. Don't get anything there with the bases loaded. Guys, it is what it is for me. It is what it is. Then you found a way to muster up everything that you could in the 7th, and you got 5 runs. Danny Dickinson walks, John Pearson walks, Ethan Fry line drive double into right field, Milam bloop RBI single, Brown 2 RBI single, Stanny 2 RBI single, which we keep talking about Stanny. Stanny keeps performing at a high level. So, look, man, midweek games don't matter. That's what I'm told all the time. Midweek games do not matter at all. They never matter. They never will matter. Why am I doing that? That's what I'm constantly told. It mattered something to Nicholls, and it taught you a lesson. You got taught a lesson tonight. The lesson was pretty simple. The lesson was, hey, man, you got to show up ready to play every single night. And listen, you won. You won. You would, again, you love having these teachable moments when you I don't know. I think our internet's really bad. I know you guys can't see us that well. This production's pretty bad. Stand by, guys, one more time. Hold on. This is I hate when the internet's bad. I just hate when the internet is so bad. I don't know. All right. Of course, you stay up this late, and the show is poo-poo. Hear me good, just can't really see me that good. All right, we're going to muscle through it. We got to muscle through it. All right, sorry about that. But listen, for what it's worth, to end this baseball segment out here, look, I expect a team that's going to have 7 straight games away from Alex Box. Guys, 7 straight. At some point, you were bound to run into a situation where adversity hit against an opponent that you have no business losing to in the midweek, and you found a way to win. Guys, you're 33 or 34-3. Paul's up. What are they? Paul's up. I know Paul's up's in the chat. Paul's up. What are they? 33, 34-3. Are 31-3. They're 31-3. That's insane. I mean, guys, you'll take it. Now, I will say this. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. We'll probably go over to our friends over at Service Talk Digital tomorrow, and we'll break down Auburn. And we'll post that segment about Auburn. I probably should check this before I say anything, because Auburn was leading Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's not a bad – they're not a bad team. They're not a bad team at all. Let's go look at it. Auburn won in final. Won. In the 8th inning, Auburn won against number 18 Georgia Tech tonight, 9-8. You got a dangerous team, man, that you're going up against. A very dangerous team. Auburn's a solid club. And look, you'll see your former pitcher on Friday night, Sammy Dutton. So we'll talk a lot about Auburn tomorrow. I'm not shocked. I wish, now thinking back on it, it's my fault. Thinking back on it, like, we had a whole talking point last night revolved around, listen, man, you go at least 6-1 in this stretch in 7 straight road games. That is beautiful. Like, you want to go 7-0, but in baseball, man, that's a beautiful feat. If you go on the road 7 straight times and you get 6 and you're 6-1, that's a beautiful feat. Now you got a tough opponent that you're playing tomorrow. Playing this weekend, excuse me. And it's going to be a challenging one. Auburn's a tough club, man. So I wish, now looking back on it, I would have said that what we were really talking about, in that being like, look, man, you might fall one because you're exhausted, and it's just the way how the season wears on you. Now you're in the middle of the season. So yeah, I'm there, man. I'm there with this team. I think if this team makes a postseason run, we're never going to talk about the adversity that they overcame in a midweek versus Nicholls. So we'll see. One thing that I cannot leave out before we get out of here. Holy William Schmidt. Holy moly. You would love to see him put more performances like this together. He did in the beginning of the season. And look, again, you could chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up to. He's facing a Nicholls team that wasn't that good. He's facing off against a team that won't make the postseason more than likely. He should be able to come in here and shove it down their throats. Guys, he did exactly what he's supposed to, though. And I think that that's the point that I look at with William Schmidt coming into the game tonight. Like, guys, well, William Schmidt should did that. We overlooked the fact that he did do it, though. He had some struggles. He had some issues these last couple of weeks. I understand it's a midweek game against a team that nobody gives a Rudy Poo about, and that's no disrespect to Nicholls. But he did exactly what you would expect a guy with that level of talent to do. The big thing for him tonight is he threw strikes. I do think that the ground ball that he had to himself in the seventh, to start off the seventh, sums up how fast things had been going for him. You know, he was like, oh, he's at the mound, and he was about to underhand it. He's like, no, I got time. Like, slow it down. Slow it down, right? Slow things down for the big guy. He gets it over to Bear Jones, and then you're out of the inning, or you're going to get out of that inning. Ground ball, strikeout, and then Jake Brown. Oh, no, ground out, strikeout. One swinging, one looking. Then he comes back in the eighth. He gets 3 Ks. Then he finishes you off in the ninth. Pause. But he finishes you off there. You love seeing that, man. You know, it's funny. I brought this up in the postgame show during the weekend. I was like, man, the arc for William Schmidt could be Cade Anderson without the injury. Look, man, Cade struggled in the SEC the first time we saw him. Man, midway of the season last year, Southeastern last year. Remember Cade Anderson? I got 100 black coffins. Y'all know that Rick Ross song from Django Unchained. But for 100 bad men, kid looked impressive tonight. Kid looked highly, highly impressive. I love seeing that. That looked really good to me. Very good to me from William Schmidt. Got tip of the cap, man. You had a team that wanted this one more than anything. And I thought he looked good. That Anderson arc, though, for William Schmidt, talented freshman, could have been a first-round kid, comes to LSU. One did have an injury, and so you had to see what he looked like coming off of that injury. And William Schmidt did not have that. So it is a big difference. But the same storyline. Young, talented kid, could have been a first-rounder, comes in here, has struggles in the SEC. He comes back in a midweek. He looks dominant. Sound familiar? Well, I remember that being last year for Cade Anderson. Now, if you remember, Cade Anderson found it pretty heavy at the end of the year. You remember that Chapel Hill regional when he came in, and he shoved, bud. He shoved. He 1,000% shoved. Was it the SEC tournament? I think that he had another really damn strong performance there too. If memory serves me correctly. Good. You would love to see if William Schmidt could be that third guy out of the pen for you. Guys, his stuff plays. His stuff is electric. If, God forbid, if LSU baseball finds a third guy that they can come with out of the pen, William Schmidt showed you so many things tonight against Nicholls. And I get the opponent. I understand that opponent. I understand that this is the 4th straight game that you're on the road on too. And I understand the kid had not been having success finding the strike zone. He gets away from Baton Rouge. We see him. He was highly impressive. But if LSU, and he does what he needs to do, If LSU can find that third guy out of the pen, that's when they start becoming dangerous. Seriously dangerous. Now, could you imagine a place where you have Cade Anderson, Zach Cowan, Anthony Ianson, and Kason Evans, and then you have Shores and then Schmidt? Guys, that's a combo that I think is highly successful. I think that's a combo for, man, if you find that third guy, holy moly. Then you're cooking with grease. Then that bowl that you have, that bowl is starting to roll now, baby. That gas is all the way up on that burner. That gas is rolling, and so is that boil. And, man, you will be tough to beat because not everybody's going to be off now. You present a very interesting challenge. Blake, don't overreact to a midweek. I'm not saying that William Schmidt is going to be that third guy, but God forbid if he is. God forbid if he is. Because if that's the situation that you look at, and this kid now finds the strike zone, again, on that Cade Anderson arc, oh, that's better than Grandma's Sunday gumbo, baby. That's better than Grandma's Sunday gumbo. You know it and I know it. All right. Let's get to some comments before we get to some football here. Stephen Young says Schmidt is going through what Anderson went through. Exactly agree. Anthony B. Saint says Schmidt could play a pivotal role down the stretch. Without a doubt. This team finds a third consistent arm out of the pen. Guys, we're going to listen. God bless America. God bless Bayou Jesus if LSU finds a third arm coming out of the pen. Because if they do, please, sweet Bayou Jesus, when they do, you got a tough series against A&M coming up. You have a tough series against Tennessee coming up. You have a tough series against Arkansas coming up. You got a lot of challenges down the road. A lot of challenges. But, man, if that emerges, if that part emerges, you know, it's so wild, man. 2 weeks ago that we were talking about, like, man, Cowan might need to come in the rotation, and he still might need to. I don't know. I don't think he will. But, you know, man, that's highly interesting. You know, another thing, too, that I want to bring up here, in that comment, Kason Evans and William Schmidt are freshmen. So two of those arms of the two of the three arms that you would want. Yahtzee. So yeah. Alexander says Ricky Collins got named QB1 at Syracuse. He did. Look, I'm happy for Ricky, man. I am very happy for Ricky Collins. Very happy for him. I don't know if he's the level of passer that maybe that they would want at Syracuse coming off of what Kyle McCord did. But, hey, man, he went in there and won that battle in the offseason. Didn't want to continue to sit behind Garrett, and he didn't, and good on him. It'll be very interesting to see how Ricky Collins does. Boy, Ricky Collins goes off. People going to freak out. Ricky's got a lot he's got to work on now. A lot he's got to work on. David says that every game matters, Blake. It's always about winning, always staying competitive. It's contagious. Losing can't start a bad habit. I agree. And David's right on that, especially when it comes to baseball. Especially when it comes to baseball. Andrew Pinkston said Lansing committed to South Carolina today is going to be a serious problem for the rest of college basketball. Yeah, and they got their asses whooped this week. They got their asses whooped this week. And I think everybody enjoyed watching it. At least I know I did. All right, let's get to some football here, and then we'll get out of here. So LSU, after a break, is back on the gridiron. They're back on the gridiron today. Let's get to this. Sadir Mitchell did leave practice early today with an injury. Looked like he had hyperextended his leg. Did not look good. What appeared to not look very good, and a guy that did go in the locker room today did reemerge from what I understand, and later on in practice and went along the sidelines with a helmet and pads. It's a very good sign. It would seem that the injury is not bad. Sit him out because, look, before that situation occurred, and Sadir Mitchell today at practice, so in case you missed it, Sadir Mitchell did hyperextend his leg at practice. Guys, it's practice. Sometimes you'll have these freakouts. It seems as if at the current moment, I don't know the ultimate status right now. I do not know. What I do know is that he did come back to the sidelines, and if he was really hurt, he wouldn't have gone back out there with helmet and shoulder pads. At least I would be dumbfounded. So you need him before the injury for Sadir Mitchell. I thought today was just yet another day that you got in a situation in double team drills and where the offensive line is working on double teams and getting to the second level. Sadir Mitchell had some really good reps. I think Scarborough posted a video. I would be interested. I did not watch Scarborough's video. I would be interested to find out if he got the Sadir Mitchell footage. He told me on the phone, the reason I bring this up, he told me on the phone today when I talked to him that he did get it. So go over to Tiger Bait if you want to see what I'm talking about as well. What I would say there is, listen, man, your mind starts wondering, though, when he got hurt, what you do at DT. Now, we'll talk about a lot about DT here to start off. But do you need to get another one in the portal? I'm still in the camp that I think that they did. Speaking of a guy that did get injured and did come back today, listen, I will always come in here and admit my wrongs. I did not think that I would see Jacoby and Guillory this spring at all. At all. But yet, he was here, and I did not think he would come back from the Achilles and take individual drills and go through individual drills. I got to give Jacoby and Guillory this, man. My man was going into today, and Jacoby and Guillory, your defensive tackle as well, in individual drills, I thought was more explosive than I would have imagined him to be. Guys, we saw him on the sidelines literally 2 weeks ago hobbling on the sidelines. And I'm like, man, that does not look good. He was hobbling, man. Ask anyone that was there. And this is just some great news that you get here. My man was going through individual drills. And, man, from my eyes in seeing him today at practice, I retweeted or quote tweeted John Eads of WAFB, his footage, if you want to go see it. Dude did not look bad at all. And you know how I am on individual drills. Now, I tell you in every post-practice report, I'm not boring you with that stuff unless something stands out. Today that stood out to me is I thought that Jacoby and Guillory looked good. I did not expect that a low level of explosion. I didn't. Good on Jacoby and Guillory. Big 90. You need all the help that you can get there. You need every single ounce of help that you can get there. You know, one thing that we do not talk about with this team coming out of last year. I guess because we just don't put any emphasis on it. How much did Jacoby and Guillory's status not being there last year hurt you? You know, I don't know if Jacobian is a guy that you look and say a bona fide all SEC type of player. But when he went down last year, it's not something that we talk about often, like, oh, yeah, that stinks. But how much should we have been focused in on that? How much could he have helped plug up the middle last season? I still think that he would have definitely given you some solid reps here and there for sure. But now he's going into his final season, and this is it for him. Be honest with you, I think that a guy coming out in spring the way that he did today, it's a great sign. It's a very good sign. It also, for what it's worth, guys, this is why spring is important, because you see what he looks like with pads on. Kyle Williams can be there and say, okay. I mean, he tore his Achilles. Okay. I mean, he was fine today. That's why those reps matter, because you get a look. And then what if he goes out there and he looks really bad? Coach, he's slow. Coach, he's slow off the ball. He doesn't have any good explosion. Well, then you probably got to go in the portal. Then you feel pretty confident. Then you definitely need to go in the portal. I thought for what it's worth, in individual drills, there's only 20 minutes to view this now today. I thought he looked good to me. Staying along the defensive line here and for today's practice, things that stand out to me. I do think that the edge presence continues to make me get the heebie-jeebies in a good way. So maybe not the heebie-jeebies. I think that this edge unit continues to give me chills. Because they've had an impressive spring. I don't know what it's worth. And I will be the first to admit I have no idea for whatever it's worth about what you're doing at edge. Here's what I do know. What I do know is that I feel like every time that I go out there, every time that a practice happens, that every single day I walk away impressed by what I'm seeing at the edge position. Gus, somebody that stood out to me today for what it's worth was Dylan Carpenter. Nothing he did was special. Nothing that he did was unique or something that we've never seen. What was interesting to me about Dylan Carpenter today, he looked like he put on some size. He got some runs with the twos today, and okay. Dude is a long, lengthy defensive edge. I still think that the three guys, there's a reason I haven't talked a lot about Butler, but I don't think that Butler or Carpenter, but has been as good or impressive as Pyburn, Relaford, and Payton. Not existent. That doesn't exist. I hope that unit can translate it, man, because I see that potential in that room. The potential in that room is high level. I can see a medium floor level for the edge unit, but man, I think that you got a high level of performance that can happen at edge. They constantly stand out to me. I think Patrick Payton, man, I hope that he rights the wrongs that was put on him from this past season with a lot of Florida State people saying that he has no effort. Man, then it's not showing up in practice. It's not showing up there. He looked good. I said it last night. I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. This keeps getting missed by me. Guys, I get called out for all the negative stuff, never get called out for the positive stuff. Guys, I feel uber confident about that one. And how about this? From Mr. Negative. If I Mr. Negative, then you best believe that what I'm seeing, if that's the label that I have, if that's the label that's being put on me, then me coming out here constantly, even in the negative pieces, saying that Edge is playing that well, I mean, what does that tell you? I thought they looked impressive. All right. Let's go to this. So the biggest, most interesting thing that happened today is not going to come from the players. It's going to come from the coaches. I think Brad Davis and Kyle Williams had some words today. I don't think Kyle taking no shit, if I'm being blunt with you. And neither was Brad, for what it's worth. Brad stood his ground too. Listen, I think that Brad Davis challenged. I think Kyle Williams challenged Brad Davis today. There was a situation that happened where the defensive lineman was doing something, and it's on double team drills. So 2 offensive linemen versus 1 defensive tackle or defensive player. And Brad did not like where the defensive lineman was lining up. And Kyle said, we're going to line up wherever we want to line up at. You can't tell us what to do. And they kind of started jawing back and forth. Brad said, you got the wrong dude. And Kyle said, some explicits. Here's all I know. Kyle Williams ain't going to take shit from nobody. He ain't going to take shit from you. He ain't going to take shit from nobody. And quite frankly, his unit won again today. Sadir Mitchell did not get moved. Mod Bro had a couple of good reps. Don McKinley, I thought went up against a guy in Tyree Adams who, guys, I got to be real. I just think Tyree's separating himself at the current moment. I think that defensive line room, for what it's worth, in these double team drills. So we go to these run game drills, and it's a double team drill where the offensive lineman versus 2 offensive linemen versus a defensive lineman. And Sadir Mitchell not getting moved. Ahmad Bro beating a double team of 2 of the guys that you would consider starters. I do wonder if, number one, that can translate more into the SEC, or is that just happening against you? If that's happening against you, and guys, it's just a day, it's just one day. But if that's happening against you, we got to figure some stuff up on this interior offensive line room. Guys, I'm not going to be negative here. Here's what I'd say. Not going to even point out players individually. I think I saw one good rep from your interior offensive line today. That coming from Braylon Moore. Other than that, I just don't. I think D-line, for what the media was able to see today, won. I think they won. I think that they are playing at a level at the current moment against your unit at the current moment where they're just winning that battle. Have no idea if that translates in week 1 or in the SEC. No clue. I still have my concerns. I have a lot of concerns about both of those units. A lot of concerns. Maybe not even concerns. I have a lot of questions. How about that one? Not even label it as a concern. I have a lot of questions about both interior lines of scrimmage. Are you tough enough there? And you know what? Jake Flint, you about to make your money, brother. You're about to make your money. You better get that interior unit ready to go. It's on him. At this point, it's on him. It's not on Brad Davis. Ain't in the locker room with him. It's on him. You got to get these guys ready to go, man. It is your job to make sure this unit up front gets ready to go. D-line's winning it. And not pointing anybody out specifically, I'll point out the good things, since people who say on Twitter that I never call out players and then they do and then they comment on our show, whatever. It was won by that. Another thing that stood out to me today, because Okay, let's go to this before we ultimately go to safety. I love the versatility of what Mansour Delane has been utilized with, even tinkering with in spring. Outside, hash, doesn't matter. So when I mean outside or hash, I mean he's either playing the boundary at corner or in certain nickel situations or dime situations, he's been running in the slot. I love that versatility. Mansour Delane has been a person who has played that safety position. And he's somebody that I do think that can play that slot position for you. We've seen him play boundary corner and pick passes off. We've seen him play safety and pick passes off. We've seen him be really good in coverage in the ACC, who was not bad defensively or offensively a year ago throwing the football. Actually, the ACC was the number one conference in the country at throwing the football around. They even did it against the SEC and the Big Ten for what that's worth in those matchups that faced off. I look at Mansour Delane as the ultimate weapon if these young corners like DJ Pickett, I'm going to put Jakeem Jackson in that route because he's never really played and started. Did Ashton Stamps develop? I don't know. What I continue to notice at corner is, number one, you got a bona fide dude at DJ Pickett. I feel that confident in him. You have a situation where Mansour Delane has been moved all over the place, and I love the utilization of him. He is somebody that you can send if you need to. He is an intelligent human being now. He's a very intelligent human being. I feel like when I see Mansour Delane at practice, I feel like I'm seeing a guy that a coach doesn't really have to always correct, that he's just always doing the right thing. That's how I feel about it. Now, I'm not saying that Corey has never come down on Mansour Delane. It's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is I feel like I'm just seeing an experienced guy that's been there before. And quite frankly, the last time that LSU had any form of presence at corner was when you went and got older dudes in the portal that it meant something to them. Guys, Jared Bernard Converse, he will never be notified or noticed, or nobody will talk about Jared Bernard Converse. Nobody will talk about Mekhi Gardner. Guys, they played really good. They gave up some touchdowns. It's okay. I do think it's the best unit by a mile. I think it's the best unit or the best, most talented unit that you've had at minimum since 2022. And if you got 2022 corner play again, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I will take Jared Bernard Converse picking off Bryce Young in the red zone, in the end zone in the red zone. I will be interested to see what happens with Mansour. Safety. Gus, listen, call me whatever you want to call me. I literally just brought up 6 positive things. I cannot walk away without talking about this. I feel like it is my job to be real with you, and I am going to be real with you. My realness is I don't feel like that overall there you are ready at all. I do feel like that that Sean Spears has made a really good leap and has done some really good things. I do not believe that you're ready there. Have no idea what just happened there. I do not believe you're ready. I think that you have, for what it's worth, potentially developed a guy at safety in Deshaun Spears. I'm seeing a lot of recorrecting individual drill stuff that guys should know. I see too much of having to explain stuff to a guy like Joel Rogers in year 2. I mean, guys, he's almost through his another spring. Cooley, I mean, some of this fundamental stuff that you should have That worries me. Always having to correct and just not doing a drill right. I know that sounds petty, but I don't feel confident there. Edge, corner, and look, I will talk about tackle, and I'll get back to offensive line in just a moment. Tackle, and receiver, guys. Those 5 positions, 4 or 5 positions. I feel that you're as talented in the SEC as anybody. I really do mean that. Really, I do. Receiver, corner, tackle. But, man, I feel like they're glaring holes. Pause. I do feel that they're there. Here would be my wrap-up of the day if I had one. It's day one coming off of a break. A lot of the same stuff happened. A lot of the same position groups stood out to me. There's no throwing around when the media is out there, so we didn't get to see that. We got to see warm-ups by quarterbacks. That's it. The wrap-up for me would be simple. I think that LSU has the chance in some of these positions to be very solid, more than solid, borderline at one of them, elite. I do like what I've gotten out at tackle from Tyree Adams this spring. And, guys, I got to be real with you. I feel like from what I've seen from Weston Davis over the last 4 weeks, has been somewhat impressive. Guys, Weston Davis started off spring, and you're like, oh, goodness, this has not been great. Guys, Weston Davis is coming to his own in some of these situations. They've really pushed him, but guys, in some of these run game drills, some of these pass pro drills, he's been very solid. If I'm going to continuously get that level of production, or not even production, if I'm going to get that level of development, guys, I think tackle's a position. Tyree Adams is not somebody that we talk about at all, ever here. You know why? Because nothing's getting past him. The one long run that you had along the left side, Tyree Adams had a massive block. Guys, when they're going on pass pro and you got Patrick Payton on him and he's making a really good pass rush specialist, look, I don't even know the verb, but he's making it look easy at times for him. There was a rip move by Patrick Payton. He gets his hands on the outs or inside of the rib. He's able to stand down. Patrick Payton tries to spin back into the inside. He's got quick feet to move back up and get that right hand jab back in there, and he wins the rep. And I'm like, man, that's a good rep. That's solid stuff that we've seen from Tyree Adams at left tackle. In the run game, I got to be honest with you. I've seen some violence coming from Weston Davis the last couple of weeks. Some real violence. I do feel like that has happened because Josh Thompson came here 2 weeks ago, and Josh Thompson was right there. And I think that Weston Davis in that competition has pushed himself. So you have a situation, in my humble opinion, or corner, tackle. I thought DT's had a good day, but they got to be more consistent there on an everyday basis. I've talked about edge a lot, and I will continue if I need to. But, man, receiver's been very solid too. You got a lot of speed out there. There's a lot of positions that you look and you see the improvement and development happening, and then we'll see more this Saturday, and we'll see more this fall what that looks like. All right. Jacob says the contrast between how Blake talks about baseball and football is crazy. All love Blake, love Rufino and Joe Show. Jacob, let me ask you this. What can you elaborate on that? Can you elaborate? What do you mean? What do you mean? Stephen Young says to Jacob, if LSU football was 31-3 like this year's baseball team, it means you've gone to 3 playoffs and 1 deep in the last 2. I just think baseball's different. Well, number one, I think it's different, but number two, I feel like that the baseball, from a baseball perspective, I think that they're really good. What they've shown you that they can be really good. And I know that baseball is baseball. I know baseball's baseball. And I have a lot of confidence in this team. A lot of confidence. Gus, you're 31-3. 31-3. You go in Auburn next week and you win. You got a tough stretch with A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas. That's a tough stretch. It's a tough stretch. But man, I mean, you take two of those series, you're like, I mean, guys, because I would take you 2 out of 3 there. So yeah. All right, let's get to a couple of these and we'll get out of here. DeMarcus says post-spring football keys to the staff got to be adding a proven good safety and then maybe another DT or a tackle and get dudes in the cafeteria big time, add some pounds. Cooper Patania over at 247 last week said something to me. And he posted on Twitter too. I said, what does LSU need in the portal? And he said tackle. At first, I saw some people pushing back on that, like on our article or whatever. He's not wrong. Guys, you got Carius Kern and Josh Thompson at tackle. You got 2 guards as backups at tackle. What that tells me that you don't have somebody behind the guys in Weston Davis and Tyree Adams that you would feel ultimately confident in. That's what I think. You got 2 guards at tackle. HB says, so I could see that too. HB says, showed up late. Have we discussed if we are targeting another DT in the portal? Thanks in advance. No, I mean, just my opinion at the current moment, like how it would go. We'll definitely talk about that when the portal opens. Kate Atterbury says, go throw whatever amount of money we need a safety, please, God. Look, man, people, again, I don't have confidence there yet. Outside of Deshaun Spears, there's just not a lot of confidence for me there. They got to have a massive offseason, bud. A massive offseason. Alexander Taylor says the 2018 and 2019 teams ran a lot of nickel. I feel more comfortable with the lane in the slot than Toviano or Woodland. Yeah, I mean, listen, the corner for me that stood up and made some plays when nobody was expecting it, it's been Michael Turner. Michael Turner, all right now, all 155 pounds of his ass. Ashton's got to have a big offseason, man. He's got to have a big offseason. It's crazy that we're talking about a starter like this, but I wouldn't mind moving Ashton's to safety, see what happens. I wish it would have happened during the spring. I do like the lane in the slot. It means Jakeem Jackson and DJ Pickett are going to have to play. Or somebody's going to, like, somebody's got to be big on the boundary. Jackie Harris says thoughts on Xavier here. Don't know if he would come back here. Was a 2-time all-conference performer. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I don't know how I feel there. We'll find it. We'll find out. I don't hate adding anybody that you think that could play, but I don't know if he goes here. There were some rumblings early about Ole Miss. God forbid if he goes to Ole Miss. Todd Davis says it's truly embarrassing seeing Bradford in your backyard committing to another team. Don't disagree. Ashton is like Derek Dillon. He got passed up. Damn. Why y'all got to do Derek Dillon like that? Derek Dillon ain't do nothing to y'all. Stephen Young says his Stamps just not able to play safety. I have no clue. Mayo, do we have any good freshman safeties? I mean, you would have to hope that like Chase Thomas takes off. I think Jim Coley will be a backer or a big star. No, I don't know. I mean, you do get Jordan Gilbert back. I don't think Jordan had a great year at all. I have not seen enough from Tamarcus Cooley to make me confident. And he played a lot of nickel himself. Deshaun Spears has the body type of Eric Reed if he put on some more poundage. Pause. Guys, I haven't seen much from that room yet. PMH, I've seen him make this comment 3 times. And I'm sorry. He says, who do you think will be QB1? I do think it will probably be some form or fashion of Mansour Delane, maybe Ashton Stamps in the early beginning. But I think Mansour Delane will be out there. I think Jakeem Jackson will be out there. They've done a really good job at rotating this fall of guys who goes in with the 1s and 2s. Like there have been times that Mansour Delane goes with a second unit, right? In some instances. And there are instances where he's going with the first unit. They've done a really good job there. I do think that for what it's worth, that you're going to see at some point, it might not happen early or even during fall camp. I think at some point throughout the season, it will be some form of DJ Pickett, Jakeem Jackson, and Mansour Delane. Stephen Young says, I'd be good with a Craig Lawson at this point. Shit, you'd be good with a Danny McCray at this point. HB says, we got think there will be some attrition on the O-line, any other position we could see that happening with. 16 offensive linemen on this team. That's a lot. That's a shitload. Some of those guys do need to move on. Maybe edge. Maybe edge. I could see edge. Maybe corner. Maybe I could see 1 or 2 guys at corner. I could see a receiver or 2. Does Kyle Parker want to sit for another year? Does Xavier Thomas want to sit? Guys, let's just be real now. I mean, Xavier Thomas is running with the first team. He come on. They're not going to do that. Or maybe he's content. I don't know. Trying to think. You need all the running backs you can get. And I'd take one. I mean, look, if Caleb Jackson says, screw this, I've had enough. If that happens, then you 1,000% need it. So, yeah. All right, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Normal showtime tomorrow. Thank you. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night.